Out.
Yes.
Here.
Haswell moved on. We're not good enough anymore. She ascended.
I'll grab your papers.
You're gonna grab my what?
Your papers.
Stop.
The papers.
Thank you,
not
Seth. I
done.
totally forgot to grab those.
Bars.
Okay. Hey, if we turn over to the sideboard here, over on Trooper Tide Tuesday, the 5th of this fine month of November, okay? Brings me back to the movie V for Vendetta, but I'm sure none of you have seen it. That's okay. Algebra 1, SWBA students will be able to use function notation and evaluate function. Section 4.2. Yes, Chris?
I thought it was Trooper Tie Tuesday.
It is Trooper Tide Tuesday.
I can't see it from here.
You're blind.
Oh, my
Eat
fault.
more carrots.
A time with
Eat more carrots.
Okay, now I need
Those
pens.
guys, like, mine overdose.
Carrot poisoning.
I don't think I can follow it.
You choked on 6 carrots.
I already
I
have
don't
it.
know.
What do you want to eat?
I only watched.
Dial back in. Dial back in. Dial back in. Okay. 4.2, function notation, okay? We can replace the y in an equation with f of x to show it's a function, okay? So we had equations, we had like y equals, blah, 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 blah. And we had those equations on the last worksheet a little bit. We were saying whether or not some of them were functions. We have the notes a bit, saying if they're functions, okay? So what we can do is if they're a function, we can replace the y with this f parentheses x, and we can show it's a function, okay? This is read as f of x. When you see this f parentheses x, we read it as f of x, saying that it's a function of the variable x. We're saying it's a function of the variable x, okay? Okay? The value in the parentheses is used to replace x. So whatever value we end up putting in the parentheses, we're just saying that's going to be our x. So if we have this function, f of x is equal to 3x minus 4, it's really the same thing as the equation y is equal to 3x minus 4. What's off? Okay? It's really the same thing as the equation y is equal to 3x minus 4. We just replace y with f of x, and that way we know it's a function, okay? We talked before, since y is to the first power, it is in fact a function. Now, when we're saying f of 3, we're saying if f of x is equal to 3x minus 4, find each value. We're saying find out the value of the function when x is 3. So we're replacing x with 3. So just like before last week, okay, last week we did this where we plugged 3 in for x, right? And then we evaluated and figured out what y was. We're really doing the same thing. We're plugging 3 in for x. We just write it this way now, okay? So this is called function notation to write it this way. Notation, if we look at the word notation, you can kind of see the word note in there. That just means how we write something, okay? This is just saying how we write functions.
I think not.
Okay? Yeah. But notation, if you hear the word notation, you hear note. Okay? Notation. Okay? So if f of x is equal to 3x minus 4, f of 3 equals, when we take this 3x minus 4 and you replace x with 3. Just like x was replaced with 3 inside this parenthesis, we replace x with 3 here. You just substituted it in. Okay? And then you evaluate, Kenny. Then you evaluate. Okay? So we say, okay, well, f of 3 is equal to, what's 3 times 3? 9. F of 3 is now equal to what? 5. So, we found our value. We're saying for this function, when x is 3, the function equals 5. Y is equal to 5 there. Because f of x is the same thing as y. So we're saying when we plug 3 into the function, we get 5 out. Functions are kind of like a vending machine. You plug something in, you get something out. Okay? We plugged in 3, we got out 5. You put in $1.50, you might get a Reese's. Okay? Yes. Yeah. So we took this function here, f of x is equal to 3x minus 4. You're given this function. Then we're saying, hey, find the value of the function when x is 3. So we replace f of x is now f of 3. 3x minus 4 is now 3 times 3 minus 4. So we took this, and because we replaced this x with 3, we also replaced this x with 3. Does that make any more sense? Okay, great question, okay? Any other questions on the first one before we try the second example here? Okay, so f of negative 1, if we do the same function, can somebody tell me what to write here times negative 1 minus 4. We're going to take this function here, 3x minus 4, and we're just plugging in negative 1. So it says f of negative 1, we're just saying negative 1 is going to be our x right now. We're going to see what this function equals when x is negative 1. So then we evaluate from here. Okay, so we say f of negative 1 equals, what's 3 times negative 1? Negative 3. You saw that minus 4 there. So f of negative 1 is now equal to what? Negative 7, and we finish it off.
Should that be unlucky section?
I don't understand.
Because 7 is a lucky number, but now it's unlucky.
It's my lucky number, Seth.
It's now
Negative
unlucky.
7 is your lucky number. Alright. Hey, I want you guys, or actually no, excuse me. We're gonna do number 3 now. 3, f of 3a. So f of 3a, now we're gonna plug this in for x. So 3 times 3a minus 4. So you just take literally whatever's there and just plug it in.
What about the equal sign?
Like we didn't have an equal sign here?
No, we don't have an equal sign.
Yeah, there. Yeah, that's okay. Because we're still asked to find the value. We're just trying. We're still being asked to find f of 3. That's a good question. So then we say, okay, f of 3a is equal to 9a minus 4. Can we simplify that anymore?
No.
No. We can't combine 9a and 4.
3a.
Okay? Can't combine 9a and 4. Okay? And this is not a 3a we can mess with. This is just saying this is what this is all equal to. Okay? So the f of 3a is not something that we're going to move around or anything with. We don't treat it like a number. Okay? We don't treat f of 3a as a number here. Okay? We're just saying this would be like our y. Okay? So that's what we're solving for. And so here, it's already by itself. We're keeping it by itself. We're just simplifying the other side. Questions on that?
What?
I ascended.
How can that be?
Okay. So, let's continue on right below this, guys. We have some different examples, okay? So now we're going to be giving 2 functions here. We're going to be given 2 functions. Now, functions, we can have a function f. So we had f of x. We can also have functions g. We can have functions h, okay? So these are just saying they're different functions, okay? And so we don't call them function and function, okay? Like you said, function starts with an f, so we call it function, you know? We don't call it function and function. I didn't say that as a joke from time to time, but we don't actually call it function and function, okay? It's still a function. It's still function g of x and function h of x, okay? So we're just saying these are different functions, okay? So if we have a list of functions, we're going to start doing with other letters. You normally start with f, and you just kind of work your way down through the alphabet at that point.
You can't have a.
You could, but we just normally start with f and work our way down through the alphabet. Because typically, f, g, and h are the most common use for functions, and we don't normally use them for variables, so they kind of stand out a little bit more. And f is definitely our most common because f function kind of correlates there. So if we're saying evaluate what h of 2 is, which of these functions do we think we're going to use? Are we going to use the g of x or the h of x?
H of x.
You're going to use the h of x, right? It tells us h of 2. So we take the h of x function, and what are we going to do to it?
Give it to all these.
Wait, we're going to make each of these x's.
2.
2, because that's what's in the parentheses. So we're saying what's h of 2? We take h of x, and we just plug in, instead of x squared, it ends up being what squared?
T squared.
Instead of minus 4x, it ends up being minus 4 times what?
2.
2. And we saw that.
That's supposed to be a 2?
It like glitched.
It's a glitch.
Weird. Okay. So we end up getting that. We just took the h, because that's which function we're talking about, and we plugged in 2, because that's what it tells us to do. That's all we do. And then we go through and we simplify that. So order of operations tells us to do what first? Order of operations tells us what's parentheses. Is there anything inside this parenthesis you can do? Is there anything inside this parenthesis you can do? Okay, order of operations tells us to move on to what next? Exponents. Do we have an exponent? Yes, so what is 2 squared? 4. So I'm going to rewrite everything else, okay? So So h of 2 is equal to 4 minus 4 times 2 plus 9. Okay, order of operation tells us what comes after exponents. Multiplication. So what are we going to multiply here?
Negative 4 and 2.
Negative 4 and 2, and that gives us what?
Negative 8.
Negative 8. So we have 4 minus
Negative
8 plus 9. Yes, negative 8. Okay.
Nate, why
So- So now what do we do according to order of operations? Steph, combine like terms, we do adding and subtracting. In what order?
Left to right.
Left to right, okay? So what comes first?
4 minus 8.
4 minus 8 is what?
4 minus 8.
4 minus 8 is
Negative 4.
negative 4. And we saw that plus 9. So what's negative 4 plus 9?
Is
5. Okay? Hey, is this any of the math in the purple from here below? Is that new to us at all?
No.
No, it's old school. Okay, we started with that in the year. You guys have done that years before as well. Okay, what here is new to us?
Function.
Yeah, plugging in the h, right? Just the first step. Everything after that is old school. The first step is what's new. Okay, we know how to do the other stuff. The first part is what's new. Okay, I want you guys to try number 5 here.
Okay.
Okay, I want you guys to try number 5 here. And when you are done or have questions, I want you to raise your hand. Sure, tank.
I'm coming. Put one away. So you did what you did after this one, so you put all the extras. So that extra is your
Okay, we got now 3. Check me. Okay. Hold me down. I don't have to
These are possible, your view on technology.
What's your thoughts on the boomer memes? Like the okay boomer? Oh,
Yes. Why'd you move?
beautiful words. Okay.
What? That's your name.
Yeah, we can't fix that.
Yeah, I think we can.
You tried it. Alright.
Stop moving. They, whatever you said, now you have to say that.
Say what?
Okay, boomer.
Okay boomer.
I think we'll do it
To who?
Huh?
To me?
Yeah, you are. My dad's a boomer. In some cases, he's a boomer. In other cases, he's a millennial. Huh?
Oh, so he's a millennial.
He's one or the other. He says he's a boomer, but he's
How old is your dad?
he's 39.
Your dad's 39. My dad's older than your dad?
My dad's like 50.
Aren't boomers 50 and above?
He's 40 years older than me, and my grandpa who's dead is 90.
Boomers 50 and above.
My grandpa who's dead is 90.
My dad's like, no, they're 50 and above. I googled it.
Wait, did you actually do that?
Yes.
Way over here.
Then they split halfway through.
Can I get a volunteer to come up and do this one?
I watched 1, 7, or 5.
Number 5. Okay,
One guard.
Ben?
Guardian Leviosa.
Who got to us?
Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Oh, that's what we dropped.
Alright. To start, put the equal sign.
Important. Don't forget it. Soften your left foot, don't forget it. What?
Oh.
Okay. Wait, I'm doing the wrong one.
You.
Oh.
I'm looking, okay.
Don't
Pass
have to do
this
that.
coin.
Dude.
As you can see, our president is making this
Like Trump.
Whoa. So this time he's not. Okay, you can. about. No, I didn't.
Yes.
Not really.
Six plus three. Nine. There.
Very good, very good. Okay. Questions for that? Questions for lady? Okay, slap him back, yes. Okay.
That took too long.
Okay. Hey, let's try number 6 here. Okay, number 6. You guys try that one.
Use the right.
What about number 7? That one's like really confusing.
So wait.
No, it's not. The plus 5 is just
The plus five.
plus 5.
Probably.
No, I think it's him.
Should it be in the parentheses?
You gotta put -2 in parentheses. And this one's -2. Oh, I was afraid to say no.
I got kicked out of class for saying that whole time. Frick.
Let me look at your paper.
I have some memes for you, but they're like halfway down. I have a lot of screenshots
Tell me
of
about
memes, and I don't know where they're.
I'm a
Oh,
cop.
recent, but not-
Yeah.
That I don't.
Yes.
Oh God.
I just had
You're a yob and I'm a unicorn. Unicorns don't exist by my right.
Christian, where have you been?
Wait a minute.
Oh, heck.
Unless that's an extra better You shouldn't do that. Yes.
No.
Yeah. Can I help you?
Sorry.
I'm confused. Seth, I'm not asking for your help. Get up.
What's wrong with
Seth, I'm not asking for your help.
5?
No.
It's a call so you make bath bucks.
No.
I'm a god. You're right, I'm a demigod.
Hey.
6.
For number 6?
Oh.
Is that?
How is it? I first put
Are you doing the wrong?
I would laugh.
Funnier than 26. Oh, okay, 26. Doesn't matter. You're not.
Okay. Attention back up here, please, and thank you, okay? So, on this problem, guys, h of -2, plug it into the h of x. Thank you. Now, when we do this, we're always very careful with our parentheses, okay? So, and here's why. This is a prime example why we need to be careful with our parentheses. Because what is -2 times -2? Positive 4, okay? If you don't put that negative in parentheses, we're often tempted to call that -4, okay? But we'll be careful calling it +4, okay? What's -4 times -2?
Positive 8.
Positive 8 himself is +9, okay? So now we have to we just have to add 4 plus 8 plus 9, which gives us 21, okay? Questions on that one? Let's look at number 7, guys. Number 7 here, this is a bit weird, isn't it? Okay? Does anyone have a theory on how we might do this? Anyone have a theory on how we might do this, okay? Reese, I want to hear yours.
Like, how we do it?
Mhm.
So I put, G of whatever, like, how do you say it?
G of 2.
G of 2 plus 5 equals -2 times 2 in parentheses plus 3.
Okay? I almost agree.
+5.
Then we have to do what, Chris?
Add a 5.
Add a 5 at the end. So we're saying we're going to do G of 2. We're going to take whatever that is and add 5 to it. So we take whatever G of 2 was, it's -2 times 2 plus 3 that Reese told me, and we just add a 5 to it at the end.
Wow.
Okay? So we literally just write down the g of 2, and we just tack 5 on at the end. Okay? So, g of 2 plus 5 is now equal to negative 2 times 2 is negative what? 4 plus 3 plus 5. Okay, well, let's hold up a minute. I don't think we need to voice that right now. Okay. So now we have to ask ourselves, what is negative 4 plus 3 plus 5? What ends up getting us 4? Which is our answer.
How'd you get?
Okay.
How'd you get that? How'd you get 4 when you didn't do all of it?
Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Plus 5 is 4.
You put that.
I'm showing that sometimes we don't need to show a percent.
So for number 8, would you just multiply everything by 2?
Exactly right. Ben has this exactly right, guys. For number 8, you take g of negative 1 and you multiply the whole thing by 2. So this is just going to be equal to 2 times negative 2 times negative 1 plus 3. So you just write the g of negative 1 and just take this 2 on the outside. Now we can do this a couple different ways. Okay, what's one way we could do this? Ben?
Solve everything in the parentheses, then go back after and multiply everything by 2.
Yeah, do everything in the parentheses, then go back and multiply by 2. What's the other way we can do this?
Just multiply it, then solve it.
Ben?
Multiply everything by 2, then do everything else.
Yeah, what do we call it first if we multiply everything by 2 right away? Distributing, okay? Now, personally on this, I think with our big flow of parentheses, I think it'd be easier to just to do the inside the parentheses first, and then multiply by 2. Personally, that's what I think. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do here. Negative 2 times 1, negative 1 to me is positive 2. And then 2 plus 3 is 5. So what is 2 times g of negative 1 going to end up being?
10.
10, right? And that's what 2 times 5 is.
Said negative 10.
Questions on that one? Okay. Number 9. This is a bit of a stretching one too. Okay, this is one designed to stretch us a little bit too. G of a minus 1. Anyone want to tell me how we might put this one in? Okay, so that's what are you thinking?
It's like that number 3.
It's like number 3.
Yeah.
We had
3.
3a. Okay. So what do you mean by that? Like, what would I write?
You'd be like, it was, it was, I don't know anymore.
Let's just restart. Okay.
It'd be like, no.
What would I write? You want to tell me?
It would be, it'd be negative 2 a minus 1. And then plus 3.
Yeah, we just read it like that. Now, once we have it written, we know how to do this. What do we have to do? Distribute. So g of a minus 1 is equal to negative 2a plus 2 plus 3. Or we could take the negative to both. So g of a minus 1 is equal to negative 2a plus what?
5.
We combine those like terms. Okay. Questions on that? Okay. So, guys, the first step's all this. Just plugging it in. Just take whatever this is, plug it in. You basically just write it the same thing. You should replace the g of or the h of with the function plugging in what do you have for x. If we look right below this, guys, one more thing on this page and then a couple things on the next page and we're done with notes. Okay. Evaluate the function. Evaluate the function. F of x is equal to 3x plus 1 when the domain is negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, 4. What's it mean to evaluate the function? Okay, so that's what are you thinking?
It means like simplify it.
Okay, simplify it. What are we going to be doing?
Try and solve it.
Trying to solve it. Chris, what are you thinking? Okay.
Hello, I'm
We were.
wrong.
What if I tell you we were just evaluating functions? We were just doing that. It means that we're plugging stuff in, and you solve. So evaluate just means solve and do some math. That's really what evaluate means. Okay. So when we say evaluate the function f of x is equal to 3x plus 1, when the domain is this, well, domain is what values? X or y? X values. So these are all our x values. Okay. So what it's asking us to do is figure out what this equals when x is this, when x is this, and this.
What?
Well, 0 is.
So how many substitutions are we going to be doing? 5. We're going to be doing 5 separate
Well, you
substitutions.
can.
So you have the first one, f of what?
Negative 4. Well, you
Negative
can only do
4.
3 times.
There's 5.
Because if you like do like the -1, -2, you already know that the 2 and 4, but they're positive.
No, you don't.
Oh, never mind.
Yes, Chris.
We do not have enough room to do that on our papers.
Yes, you do.
Right.
Trust me.
Oh.
You have to go. You start with the far left,
Okay.
with the first one.
Yeah, I don't have tiny handwriting.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. You start with the far left. Okay.
I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah, well.
That's a good idea. Hey, I like what Seth said there. Okay, I'm gonna try my best. Okay. Great, Kenny. Shush. Thank you. Shush. Kenny, when I say shush, does that mean keep going with the conversation and finish it?
Probably not.
Probably not, okay? So I think you know that. So let's practice that, okay? So f of -4 is 3 times -4 plus 1. And then you go through, you solve that one. And then you go to the next one. I'm going to draw a little squiggly line to give myself some room. Then I go to the next one and do f of -2. Okay? I want you guys to do these 5 here. Plug it in, you solve. You plug it in, you solve. Repeat. Let's go.
This is going my business.
He just does that. Get out of my own way. You need to check in here. What?
All wrong. What a shame. I said I was, not I am.
I was wrong.
I said I was
Keep
wrong.
working, please.
You were wrong.
That's
So
what it
you
was.
listen, let's have a discussion.
just said I just said.
Okay, while we're continuing to work, Lucas, do you want to come and do the F of negative 4? Okay. You can take your paper up if you want. You can just keep writing each side and then write it last.
Mr. Castle.
He said it not.
Mr. Castle. My sister has a bunch of grown men on Snapchat, and she doesn't understand why that's wrong. And she's in 6th grade. Yeah, it is wrong. She'll find out in 8th grade.
Why you brought that up right
I don't know. He told me to. I don't know.
now? Alright, well,
I don't know.
I brought up somehow in the first place.
Yeah.
Lucas, let's pick this with this.
Alright, I'll start working on everything. I think just some of it.
Equals -6 plus 1. So that would equal -5, so f of -2.
Instead of writing out the F part every time, I just put equals.
Wanna do the next one, Tyler?
I will. I think she does.
I don't.
So let's pick the next one.
Me says me.
I'm done.
Kelly.
You're good.
The boss let
I
me
will.
play it.
No cap, I did not.
You didn't tell me. I just did it.
You did it to yourself.
You said it. You did this to yourself. Oh my gosh, this seat is broke.
So,
Now you can keep, 6 feet on the ground. Let's just write it. So if you write the F as 0 last step. Okay, I want to highlight what Kelly did here. She actually came as fossil. Is it okay if in the middle steps I just write equals? And the last step bring it back? That's fine. Kelly, go and pick this one next.
That, who's that kid?
Wow.
Our president? You mean?
how do you not know Ben?
Just think that he's Ben Mercy.
No.
No.
Like that, I'm not.
Who's Ben Amy?
Ben is better.
Alright.
Which one?
Ben. Exactly.
Don't put it in the trash.
I'm recycling it.
Put it away.
Let's see what you got. That was very nice. It was nice and helpful.
I choose.
I swear.
Oh my
Dang
god.
it. I think it's up here.
No, no,
I
no.
was secretly hoping you did that. What?
No, okay.
Now you have high to
But then take all the room off the screen.
I said probably. What is it? X?
And we would put F instead of X on the left side. Instead of X on the left side. What would we put inside those parentheses? On the left side of the equal sign. Instead you have F of X. Okay, very good. Any questions on this? Great work, B5. Any thoughts on the back all around, okay? Let's continue on to the next page, okay? We just have a little sliver here and we are huge, okay? So, here what we're doing is we're finding the value of x so that the function has a given value, okay? So we're saying, hey, we have this function, f of x is equal to 3x plus 1. We're saying, hey, when f of x equals 7, what is x? So what are we going to do? We're going to take this f of x and we're gonna replace the whole thing with 7. We're not just replacing the x with 7, we're saying this whole thing is equal to 7, okay? It's similar to if you had y equals 3x plus 1, and we are told that y is equal to 7. What would you do with the 7? Plug in for y and solve. So if we're told f of x is equal to 7, we plug in 7 and solve. So it's just solving an equation like we did before. We just made it look a little different at the start. Okay? So everybody write that please. And actually go ahead and solve that equation.
Nice.
I just wanted to give you an air high five.
It's a crisp one.
Yeah.
No, not a 7.
You gave me a high five. You didn't even say anything to me. You didn't even
You keep it as 3x. And we just solve for x like we would have been doing before. Like last week.
Do you believe in the Pico? Do you believe in the Pico?
I know exactly what shirt you're wearing.
Man, it's so creepy.
I know it.
I can see through.
That was my goal.
If you're finished with the first one, move on to the second.
Why aren't you wearing yours?
Give me Franklin.
Mind your own business. I already talked to you.
Avid.
X equals 2. So f of x equals 7. X equals 2. It's like later on.
Do you believe in the Pico?
I have no idea. I just heard it. Tampico's pretty good.
Dude, it is. I have a story about Tampico, I'll tell you guys.
Yes, I want to hear it.
What did that bring? Oh, I know. Two plus two.
Spoiler alert.
2 plus 2 equals fish.
Very good, okay? So we just solved the equation like we would have before, okay? Just solve the equation like we would have before, okay? So we plug in 7 for f(x) and then we solve the linear equation. Question on that first one?
No.
Can I get a volunteer to do the second one? Okay, okay.
I missed it. It's a big time.
Okay.
Alright. I think I did this right. Fine. Okay.
Let's go.
I'm trying to get it off my arm.
What's wrong?
She told me to do this.
Let's use water and soap.
She told
Well,
me
that's the
how to
like
do
the
this.
worst argument ever.
Bro. I make it like yours. Oh, I figured out what it is now. Yay.
Okay, Kenny, go and explain.
Alright. It equals, and you can tell it is because it is.
No.
It
Try again.
equals -2, so you put -2 over here, then you do the rest of the work, and it comes down to -7 over equals x.
What was the rest of the work? You said you do the rest of the work.
Oh, then you subtract the 5, and then you come over here, and it creates this thing that's going on right there.
Very good, very good. So you get x by itself.
You
Okay?
can tell it is right.
So we're
'cause the way
saying
it is.
when x is -7, f or g of x is going to be -2, okay, or vice versa. When g of x is -2, x is -7. So if we plugged in -7 into our function, we get out -2.
It's a bird street. You can tell it's a bird street because of the way it is. Hey, don't go. I showed you video, right? Come on.
You are
There's
your
no
robot.
dog. You're supposed to look out for my dog eats shotgun.
Oh.
Then we'll just send it to
Box.
chaos.
After my discussion. A backflip on your mom.
What if I just time travel and you don't know?
Don't do numbers 5, 12 through 13, 16, 17, and 91. You call those out.
Thank you.
No.
Number 1's 22.